Imagine getting silver shipped straight to your front doorstep by doing nothing other than just subscribing to a YouTube channel. Well, that is the reality over here, folks. I'm doing a lot of different types of giveaways. We have my 55,000 subscriber silver giveaway. I also give away 1 ounce of silver every month to one of my random subscribers, and I'm doing an unboxing soon, and I'll be giving some of that silver away as well. A lot of silver given away to a lot of different people, and like always, like every single giveaway, may the luckiest stacker win. Hey, what's up, stackers? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoy this video. We're going to be discussing silver demand over the next 5 to 10 years. We have a lot to talk about in this video, folks. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and let's talk some silver. Now, in our episode, the last episode of the Silver Stacking Podcast, TJ brought up a very interesting point of how demand actually might decrease in the next year or so because a lot of silver demand industrially comes from the housing market. So his theory is that over the next year, silver demand will be lower. So he wanted my thought, my perspective on this topic and how this might actually push the price of silver down. And he's becoming a chartered financial analyst. He's the numbers guy. He's the CPA data and intertwine that with the price and this XYZ. He's that type of guy. I am the exact opposite. I'm the silver stacker. I'm the one talking about the best silver to buy for 2022, stacking strategies, supply and demand, the silver shortage, all that types of stuff. He's the charts guy. I'm not. That's also why I wanted him as a co-host on our silver stacking podcast, because we have two completely different backgrounds and just two completely different ideas. But I think it works so good together, and a lot of times we agree. Sometimes we don't, though. And he wanted my opinion on this, and I came at it as this. PV photovoltaics, PV cells, and solar panels. That makes up a lot of the demand, but that's not all of the demand. So yes, if that sector or that side of things are going to decrease over the next year, you still have to remember EVs, electric vehicles, which is even a bigger percentage of demand coming in, which will be increasing as by 2030 every automobile company will be electric. So if demand is down for photovoltaics, which I don't know. I mean, it's possible since the housing market will be lower, but I still don't think it would affect the price too much. Overall, though, we both did agree that photovoltaics will rise. Maybe for the next year it could be down, but that doesn't mean it's going to continue to go downwards. I still see photovoltaics, electric vehicles, silver lithium ion batteries, 5G towers, all of this over the next decade will be astronomically higher than it is today. I mean, this year we exceeded 1.112 billion ounces. I can't imagine by the year 2030, when the entire world goes green, this green revolution, we'll be able to keep up with the demand. I mean, that's not possible. But his question for me was, over the next year, is it possible that demand could actually decrease? Now, he did bring up some charts and showed all this. I mean, his theory, and this is why I love TJ and why he's such a good co host, is he looks into data, right? He showed me where all silver demand comes from, and housing markets were number one. So he looked at this realistically. If the economy is hurting and people aren't, and the homeowners aren't, selling or buying, then this would hurt demand, right? Logically. So I just wanted to bring this conversation up because some of you, or probably most of you, don't even watch the podcast and weren't able to hear that segment, which is such a good, it was such an important topic to talk about. And, when we brainstorm these topics on the podcast, we're really trying to to bring quality stuff for you all. And I just really wanted, because, I didn't want to take up the whole podcast giving my response. So I broke all of that down in, probably 2, 3 minutes, maybe a little longer. But I wanted to just make an entire video talking about this, and also hear your perspective, right? I got TJ's perspective that, this might keep prices lower. You also had to throw in mine, but what is your opinion on this situation? And do you think that maybe demand won't be as high by 2030 as I think? I mean, I try to look at the whole picture, the bigger picture, right? It's not just investment demand. It's not just talking about Eagle sales. The U.S. Mint did sell 5 million Eagles the first month of January this year in 2022. That is record breaking. But I also have another theory. I have another theory that Eagle demand or Eagle sales, even by next year, might be a lot less. And I think I have this theory that Eagles are going to start becoming less popular because the premiums are so high. And I covered an article and actually data showing that the U.S. Mint's situation legally not being compliant with with the demand or the production isn't going to get resolved anytime soon. So if they can't fix this, then, and if they can't start getting more silver planches to make these coins, the premiums are going to continue to rise, meaning that these coins are going to be even more overpriced than they already are. And I just think people will start turning away from them. Yes, people still pay that price right now. I don't know why they do. Maybe it's just the fact that a lot of new people are coming into precious metals and don't understand that there's cheaper alternatives that are probably better, adding weight to your stack. But regardless, I think that over time, Eagles are going to start becoming one of those coins that people just don't want anything to do with. But remember, silver demand on the investment side of things is nothing. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction compared to the industrial demand where most silver is needed. Gold's the exact opposite. Most gold is used for coins and bars and jewelry, but that gets remelted, recycled, rescrapped, reused into more bars and coins and jewelry and necklaces and earrings. Silver's the exact opposite. Plus, since silver is used mainly in electronics, that silver's thrown away, never to be recycled or rescrapped or reused. Never. It's thrown away, gone forever. So, you got to remember that when you're looking at gold's demand or supply, even versus silver's demand or supply. The ounce of gold that gets dug up out of the ground will stay in circulation for decades upon decades. We're talking 70, 80 years. That ounce of silver that gets dug up will be thrown away within 20 years. So even though it comes out of the ground roughly 8, 9 to 1, you got to remember that it's actually a lot lower since silver is an industrial metal. Now, I do, and this was another point that he brought up is, well, what's the solution here? Right? Because obviously there's going to have to be some other solution since we cannot keep up with that demand for much longer. There's going to have to be a new player in the game to help production, whether that's the innovating the mining sector, whether that's focusing in this is my theory, is recycling is going to become a lot bigger. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so, but there also is something else that they're already starting to work on. Is cutting down the amount of silver in these solar panels, in these EVs. Right now, it takes about 58 grams of silver per EV, and they're trying to cut it down to like 26. That would help. And if you intertwine that with recycling, which you already have like the Royal Mint starting to recycle cell phones and laptops, which, they're ahead of the game because I'm sure they already know about. And I mean, yes, they broke record sales this year as well, and also admitted a silver shortage with the Perth Mint and the U.S. Mint. I mean, all three of these mints came out, acknowledged it, and admitted it. They're all having trouble. And here's another point that I need to mention. Government mints and private mints are in a completely different situation legally. They have different laws. It's the private mints that have all the access to the bullion. And actually, the U.S. Mint buys or one of their sources is from private mints. I mean, uh, I made an entire video showing the documents, showing this information. So when I say this stuff, I'm not just making it up. I'm not just, oh, I heard this from someone. I show, you can fact check anything I say, and I link all of the articles and all the documents in all of my videos. So when I mention this, it's a fact. Government mints and private mints are completely different. Private mints, they aren't going to be experiencing a silver shortage right now. It's going to be the government mints that are having the hard time getting the planches because they legally have to buy them at a certain price that private mints don't have to go by. So, since the situation isn't going to be resolved anytime soon, at least with the US Mint, I don't see how the premiums aren't going to continue to rise. Plus, you also have to throw in demand rising, which also pushes premiums up. With at least the US Mint, that's the only coin that I see premiums continue to rise at rates that are just they're just unrealistic to purchase to if you're trying to make any type of profit back or return back. But remember, like I say, I have to say again, investment demand, it only plays a tiny fraction in the overall demand. Want to put things in perspective? The US Mint roughly sells or mints 13 million ounces per year. The overall demand this year was 1.112 billion ounces. We're talking about 13 million ounces from the most popular mint versus 1 billion ounce demand. It's all from the industrial side of things. It's not investment. So if you see the US Mint saying, or any of these mints saying, that they're experiencing shortages and they're only producing 13 million ounces, that speaks for itself. But you're also not going to just see these mints saying, "Oh, there's no more silver left." A lot of people say, "Well, there's no silver shortage. I could still buy silver from this place." That's not the point. The premiums, one, explain that there is starting to become supply deficits, but at the end of the day, the real silver shortage, it hasn't even happened yet. It's over the next decade. Right? I mean, we haven't even started the green revolution yet. We're starting to see some car companies turn towards EVs, right? But that's not every company by the year 2030. We're starting to see solar panels used, but the entire world isn't green yet. We're starting to hear these people talk about goals, zero net emissions by the year 2040. That's a goal. Now, it's only 2022. So I'm not seeing the real shortage hit until 2026. And when I talk about triple digit silver, I'm talking about the year 2026, 2027. That's when the silver shortage will be undeniable. That's when everyone will understand how valuable silver truly is. Right now, people can still they can still sweep it under the rug and say, well, it could be this instead. But at the end of the day, you can't deny the inevitable. And it's impossible that we will be able to keep up with the demand of the promises we're headed towards over the next decade. It's just not possible. Even if we do recycle more, even if we do, find a new, or the mining innovation expands, it's not possible. So but remember, it's going to take probably 5 more years for people to really notice. Hopefully, some of these companies notice now, because if they have to pay even $50 per ounce, I mean, Mike Maloney sent Elon Musk a letter or tweet explaining the math. He said, you sell this amount of Teslas and by this year, and if silver's $25 or whatever at this price, it'll be $786 million dollars. But if you wait until silver's this price, I think he said 50, you have to pay $3.14 billion, right? And Elon Musk would just be the perfect mascot, since he has Solar City, he has SpaceX, and he has Tesla. But think about the other companies. I mean, even think about Apple. I mean, if you want the latest iPhone, imagine if the cost of production goes up because they're going to be also experiencing a shortage. I mean, this could be a major problem, but also for the world's health. I mean, global warming, climate change, these are some of the main reasons we're going green. So if if we're gonna have to put that to a halt, if the zero net emissions it won't be by 2040, but by 2080, how much more damage could that do? I mean, there's just a lot that's going to be happening, but at the end of the day, it hasn't happened yet. It's just slowly starting to, and we're already starting to see some of the side effects. So just get ready. I just don't think people understand when we talk about a silver shortage what I truly mean by that, or by the means it's going to happen. It's not just the investing sector, but we are going to see it, and it's not just a straight line. That's another point TJ said, right? If the housing market's down next year, or by next year, demand could drop a little bit, but that doesn't mean it's going to continue to drop. The next year after that, it could be back up. It's going to be a little bit of down, a little bit of up, a little bit of down, and you never want to see it just go straight up. Even with the price, you never want the price of silver to just go straight up. It has to go down a little bit, up a little bit, up a little higher, down a little bit. That's where price stability builds. It's also why Bitcoin crashed in 2016, because it went from like $1,500 to $16,000 within like 5 or 6 months. Extreme overbought territory, and then it crashed because there was no price stability at anything in the middle. But regardless, I wanted to bring this to light, to the surface, and hear your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions, because I did think it was a really good subject. I just think that that was a great point, a great topic, and I wanted to shed some light on it. So let me know what you think. I'm going to wrap this video up here. Remember, I'm doing a giveaway. If you want a chance to win some silver, make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the entry video. And also, if you want to be potentially a random winner for my random 1 ounce monthly subscriber silver giveaway, then got to be subscribed. I usually choose the winner of someone that stands out to me on my channel, someone that's leaving good comments or thoughtful comments, or being very nice to other people, just being someone in the Slayer community that is spreading positivity, stand out, and then I reward you for that. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.